Today I'm making a delicious recipe that can be used for a dessert or even better for afternoon teas. It's a British tradition. It's something that the Brits have all the time. You see in all the stores at Christmas, but really over in the UK we eat them all the time because they're so good. I'm making brandy snaps. Now brandy snaps are similar to the Italian cannoli, but even better. They are, honestly, I promise. They're lighter and they're more delicate and they're crispy. And the original recipe dates back to 1279 in the UK. There was markets and street fairs in Hull in the north of England. They were selling sheep and cattle, and everyone started selling these brandy snaps along with toffee apples and candy floss and donuts, and they became the food of the fair. Brandy snaps don't have brandy in them. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Brandy snaps comes from the old English word brand, schnapp. And of course, brand is the old English word for burn. So you burn the sugars in there, but not quite burn them. And then schnapp. Well, a brandy snap is not a brandy snap unless it snaps. So when you crunch it, it snaps. Brandy snap. Is there brandy in there? Is there not? Stay watching the video and I'll tell you shortly. They're so easy to make. You can even get the kids involved and they taste so good at the end. The kids will give them to family and friends and everything. And we start off with some butter, and we're going to melt the butter with some brown sugar. And I also have golden syrup. Now, golden syrup is something you could probably use corn syrup if you wanted to, but to make it authentic, you want the golden syrup. Golden syrup is this gorgeous, I mean the smell of that, the nutty flavor from the golden syrup. And if you can't find it, I'm going to put a link in the description so you can order it online. It's not expensive. If you have any golden syrup left, then you use it in treacle tart. Treacle tart, British, classic, Harry Potter. Right, so once everything's in here, then we're going to put it on the stove until the butter melts, until the sugar is mixed in with all of that mixture that's in there with our golden syrup and the butter. And then once we've done that, we'll add our dry ingredients off to the stove. What we don't want to do is bring it to the boil. We're just melting the butter and the sugar into the golden syrup. You see, looks like this, all mixed in now. Smells amazing, looks gorgeous, and now we can add the dry ingredients. I'm going to add some flour into the mix, and then also some ground ginger, and whisk all that till it's nice and smooth. Some parts of the country in the UK, it's known as honeycomb gingerbread. Nah. And in other parts, it's known as jumbles. Jumbles. Nah. Brandy snaps. Once everything's combined, mixed in, we're then going to spoon it onto a tray. Now, here I've got my silicone sheet, and onto this I'm going to spoon this straight on. If you don't have one of the silicone mats, silicone sheets, then you can just spray the tray and you can add the mix then that way. But it does work better with the Silpat trays. And I'll put a link to them below. You don't have to get one of these Scooby-Doo size ones that I've got. These are what we use in Eating Royally, my commercial kitchen here in Dallas. But I can make, many of them on this one. One thing you do have to do though is make sure you spread them out. So when you add the mix, spoon it onto the tray. Now don't be tempted to put too much on there, because as it heats up and starts to cook, it does spread out. And then any of the mix that's pushed out like that, just push it in slightly. So then it goes into the oven, 350 degrees, for about 5 minutes or so until they start to get golden brown. Once they come out of the oven, they're nice and golden. Look at those. They smell incredible and they look amazing. They're also very, very hot. So don't be touching them, pressing them, or even trying to lift them up. because they'll just collapse. What you've got to do now is be patient, just for a few minutes. And we just let them set up a little bit. And this is the tricky part. Once you've done a few, you'll get the hang of it, and you'll be making them every week for the family. But look, if we go in there now, you see, it's so soft, and we're just nudging them along. They need a few minutes just to set up. Once they've set up, we'll take them off, invert them onto the board, turn them upside down, and then we roll them. Now, the traditional way of doing it was actually to use a wooden spoon, a little rolling pin, and we just roll them like that. And then they're filled with, you know, whatever you want to do, cream, ice cream. At the palace, Buckingham Palace, when I was there, for the Queen, we actually used to use these molds. They're like little cream horn molds. You can use them for lots of different things. We use them at Eating Royally here for savoury too. We do smoked salmon around them and everything, and they just come out amazing. We do wash them. I'll put a link to them in the description. These are like $1.50 each. I'll put a link in the description, and you can really impress your friends. Let's check. Okay, it's nearly ready. Just another minute. Okay, so now they should be ready. Yep, look how easy it is now to get underneath them. Remember, invert them, and I'm going to do one of the round ones first. So over the mold like this, roll it, and then onto a wire rack. Then I'm going to do them as we did them at the palace. You have to work really fast on these and rolling them up. Don't take them off straight away. Let them cool on the mold, otherwise they collapse. And they don't take long at all, about a minute to set up firm on the mold. So you don't need 100 molds for this. You can actually use the same molds. Now, if for some reason you're not working fast enough, see, look, lift that one off, and it's looking ready, and it's looking beautiful and perfect. Same as that one too. Oh, it's broken. Now, if for some reason they don't roll, they go cold, pop it back in the oven just for a couple of minutes, and they'll soften up again. And then just pop them off. Of course, the butter that we put in there helps grease the individual molds and stops it sticking. And then we can start making more on there too. So a little bit more on each one. And it is worth taking the time and spreading them out and not crowding the tray so they don't all stick together. You don't need to let the tray go cold, even if it's still hot, and then it can go straight in the oven, and you keep going. The recipe is in the description below, and you're going to get about 24 of the brandy snaps. That's providing you don't break any, or you don't eat any while you're cooking them. Once the brandy snaps are all made and cold, then we're going to put a filling inside them. At Buckingham Palace, we used to use whipped cream. We used to use ice cream, get the ice cream nice and soft and pipe that in there too. And they're just fantastic, especially in the summer. But I'll let you into a little secret. At Buckingham Palace, one of the Queen's favourites was to have the brandy snaps, and when we whipped the cream, we put some sugar in there and a little brandy. Brandy snaps. So a brandy cream, and then just pipe that in there into each one. But don't do the cream until last minute, otherwise they'll start to go soggy. I like to serve my brandy snaps in a little glass bowl like that. They look so pretty, and when they go to the table, they just look amazing. Everybody loves them. It wows all your friends. Look at that. If you want to put a little raspberry in there, strawberry, then that's going to look pretty too. But these are the natural ones. These are brandy snaps. They look amazing. I put the recipe in the description below. I told you it was an easy recipe, didn't I? And it's so easy to make, it really is. All those ingredients whisked together onto the tray, roll them. You'll be a master at it. You'll all be making them. Brandy snaps go back hundreds of years, so Brits especially Tell me your memories of brandy snaps. Did you have them at the fair? Did family make them? Do you only have them at Christmas? We have them all year round where I am with my family. We just love brandy snaps. They're just perfect. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your comments below. And I'll see you again soon. Jumbles. Where did that come from? Jumbles. Brandy snaps. Oh, they're so good.